All right, see if you can follow along with this report from the New York Post. It says, some kind-hearted strangers melted the internet's heart after contributing $4,500 to a waiter who allegedly was stiffed by homophobic customers at a restaurant in Madison, Wisconsin. Now we'll show you the receipt, the note. So it was a bill for $142.95. And then the person, this alleged customer, left $142.95 and then left a note that said, service was good, but we don't tip sinful homosexuals. And sinful is misspelled. Now, we have seen this exact story with almost no changes at all. Dozens of times we have seen this through the years, recent years. Someone doesn't leave a tip and they leave a nasty note. Either it's a note, it's an anti-gay or sometimes it's a racist note. Usually it's an anti-gay thing. This tends to be, this is a genre where most of the entries are purportedly anti-gay. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that in every single one of those cases, it's a hoax. Every single one. Has there been yet a legitimate case of someone leaving a nasty note on a receipt and it was real? We're supposed to believe that this is different. No, this is a real one. There are already a number of problems that I think jump out at you. Starting with the fact that this is a genre that is almost always fiction. So that's why immediately there's reason to suspect. There are other problems too. Like, for example, this is someone who feels that strongly about it. We're supposed to believe, I guess, this is a Bible-banging Christian. We don't tip sinful homosexual. They don't know how to spell sinful, though. That's kind of a little bit of a red flag. And also, they took the time to note that the service was good. So they hate this waiter because of their homosexuality, but they loved the service, and they made sure to put that down in the note. You know, the service was great. It was wonderful, but we don't tip you sinful homosexuals. So that's a problem. And also, how did they know that the waiter was a quote-unquote sinful homosexual? Does he introduce himself that way? I've never had a waiter do that. I've never been sitting at Applebee's and the waiter comes up and says, hey, I'm Chuck. I'll tell you about the specials today. By the way, I am a homosexual. Okay, here are the specials. I've never had that. So a lot of problems, a lot of red flags. And also just the fact that, those of us who run in circles with conservative Christians, we just know that nobody is doing this. Nobody. Even if you had someone who was inclined to leave a note like that, it wouldn't sound like that. That would not be the note. That sounds like a note written by someone who is trying to sound like what they think a conservative Christian sounds like. But this gets even weirder, okay? So that was the note. Going back to the New York Post article, it says, this was put up on Facebook by a guy named Eric Salzwedel. And he wrote on Facebook, to the folks who felt it was necessary to write this hateful note and not tip, don't worry. Me and about 250 others will cover the tip for you. So he, do we have the Facebook post from him? No, we don't. Okay. So this guy, Eric Salzwedel, he runs some sort of nonprofit. And this is in Madison, Wisconsin. He runs a nonprofit group called Do Good Wisconsin. And he originally, he was not the waiter. But he got his hands on this receipt from someone. He doesn't say who it was from. Someone, some poor waiter, some poor homosexual waiter gave him the receipt. Eric Salzwedel, posted it to his own Facebook page and solicited donations to himself. He put his own personal PayPal and Venmo up and said, hey, everybody, someone left this note for a waiter. I'm not going to tell you who the waiter is, and I'm not going to tell you who left the note. It doesn't matter, but it's a terrible thing. Why don't you give me money, and then I'm going to go to the restaurant and leave a massive tip with your money to that poor waiter. And people did it. People sent him $4,500, and then he did a follow-up Facebook post later claiming that he went to the restaurant and gave the $4,500 to the waiter, and he never told us who it was. Anyway, I tracked this Eric Salzwedel guy down on Twitter, and I asked him. I said, hey, do you have any? I mean, you were soliciting donations to your personal PayPal account based on this receipt, and we don't know who any of these people are. Do you have any proof that any of this is real, that it's not a hoax? Like, how do we know that you're not perpetrating a hoax? Or maybe the waiter perpetrated a hoax against you? I mean, how do we know? And I went back and forth with the guy on Twitter a few times, and you could go on my Twitter page and see the back and forth. The long and short answer is that he is not going to be providing any evidence that any of this is real. He said, and I'm not making this up, he said he's not going to provide evidence that it's real because I wouldn't believe it anyway, even if he did. Okay, so you look, I'm naturally a skeptic, I admit it. You decide for yourself whether this sounds legitimate to you. Eric Salzwedel took a receipt, said, I don't know, I'm not going to tell you who this is from, or he did tell me it was a friend of a friend. So his friend has a friend, and then he got the receipt from them. But he's not going to tell the person's name. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who left it. None of that matters. Just give him $5,000 and he'll make it all right. And hundreds of people actually said, that sounds totally legitimate to me. Even though this story has been a hoax 100% of the time in the past, and this is actually the least credible sounding one we've heard yet, I'm going to give this guy my money. My God. But you know what? If you're that stupid, you deserve to be scammed. It's pretty clear to me you got scammed. That's my theory. I don't know for a fact. I think. And you absolutely deserve it in that case. Listen, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.